welcome to Was That in Good Taste? Podcast about tasting things and asking if they taste good, and then talking about things and asking, was that in good taste? Which we all know is an inevitable no, it probably is not. My name's Chandler Phillips. With me, as always, is
Stephen Beery. That's me. Oh, yeah.
All right, and today, we're going to be talking a little bit about our comfort foods and also our discomfort foods. The foods that give us that sense of catharsis and that make us feel good whenever everything else makes us feel not. And then those foods that you're just not too convinced about. So
what you're saying is when you're here, we're
going to talk about the foods.
Your family.
Yeah. That when you consume at a table with your loved ones.
Give me some more gravy.
Give me some more breadsticks. I need some more sauce. When you hear your family.
When you hear your family.
So, but before we get into that, I think we're gonna do a little quick week catch up.
We'll do a little catch up. But I guess really it's kind of 2 weeks because this is now. I think everybody knows, and you know this. Mm-hmm. This is coming out on Friday, the 3rd, 4th. It's coming out on Friday.
That's the 4th, right?
Yeah, whatever. It's coming out. It's coming out on the Friday of some week and some blah blah blah. Every 2 weeks, right? So there's a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
All right.
We got some time.
So you're a comedian.
Boy, howdy.
Have you done any of their comedy?
Yeah, I've been hitting a couple of mics when the work schedule allows me to. It's been a little tough, but I try to go to the Brooklyn Comedy Club as often as I can. They got a pretty good Monday. It's a free open mic called Bagels and Baklava. They have a great
Bagels and
Baklava.
Okay.
And it's at 5:00 on Mondays at the Brooklyn Comedy Club on 53rd. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun doing comedy there. I'm just starting to get back into the swing because I have been quite lethargic lately.
Oh, so you haven't been doing any actual comedy?
I have been out of practice. I'm that guy who for a month has been saying, "Oh man, I should go to the gym," and then instead just goes home and eats an entire bag of Doritos.
That's hot.
Don't worry, I'm efficient too. I know how to use the whole chip funneling method into my mouth, which I guess that's a good enough as we can't transition to comfort foods from there.
No, definitely
There's
not.
still way more to cover.
So you did the comedy thing. It's been a minute. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy it? How did it feel?
Oh, it was good. You feel sore afterwards because open mics never go the way you want them to unless...
Did anybody laugh?
Yeah, a couple people laughed. I got some chuckles, some snickers.
How many people were there?
Actually, as time went on, it filled up probably to about 20, 25 people, most of which are comedians. But that's the trouble with open mics. You can't ever really gauge.
It's all people who think they're funnier than you.
Exactly.
But they're probably not.
Well, and then also me thinking I'm funnier than, any given person, but I'm not.
I think, having not done it, it's kind of hard. Because it's can you go to a pizza restaurant, you get a really shitty slice of pizza, mm-hmm. and you don't really know how to make pizza, but you know it's shitty. And you see the comedians, and I mean, you know how to make a joke, but you know what a real bad joke is.
Yeah.
When you hear it, when you see it.
It's just it hurts.
I've been doing nothing, so I don't know.
Have you ever been to an open mic, Steven?
Oh,
just
many. So there's
open mic comedy.
There's one in Brooklyn, actually in the Brooklyn Queens, called Open Mic Renegades. It's actually run by an associate of mine, and a friend of mine participates. They do comedy, music, everything, guitars, pianos. It's a real kind of safe space. It's really cool that they do it. They do it every other Friday.
That's nice.
It's super awesome. And the thing I like about that kind of a mic is that not everyone who's there is participating. Mm-hmm. Or if they are, they're not all doing the same thing.
I'm gonna be honest. Usually, those kinds of open mics that are a little bit more showcase of multiple talents, those are more fun as a comedian to do because everyone's not tired of hearing comedy by the time you go up.
Yeah, and everybody's happy. Everybody's supportive. Everybody wants to be there for you, you know?
Exactly. Some of my best sets I did at this one club that, like most of the other actors, were either hip-hop performances or spoken word poetry or there's like one other thing that people do at open mics. And then
magicians also.
Magicians, those are interesting.
But it's a lot of poetry.
But a lot of poetry, a lot more poetry in New York.
You know, I really love in New York. It's really interesting is that all the open mics are mostly poetry, but with the random comedian thrown in and people who play like instruments and stuff. And it's interesting. It breaks up the monotony. It makes it very easy. You know.
Tell you what's not fun: being the only comedian in an all poetry open mic.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things I've seen before.
You want to talk about?
It's not on purpose, but like some open mics are really poetry open mics,
right?
Not open mics.
And comedians are just thirsty for stage time. We are the thirstiest bitches for stage time.
Unless you're like good.
Even then,
I've been thinking about doing like some sort of stand up, but then I realized I'm not funny, and I don't really think that I have the kind of, I don't know what kind of humor I'd be. You know, I always joke that like, you know, for me, I like a good cheap laugh. So my favorite thing is that's racist, or man, something racism, something black person, you know. But
that's pretty much par for the course.
He's like, oh man, boy, I sure do. You know who sucks? President Trump. Oh boy.
I did a Trump joke today that like, it wasn't a bad joke. It was just like, even as I was doing it, I was like, we get it. That I said that to myself in my head while I was doing the Trump joke today. It was about Giuliani got subpoenaed today. Shit's hitting the fan. There's a shitstorm a coming.
Oh, for the fifth time?
For the fifth time. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like, other presidents, they knew how to evac during a shitstorm. They get that tropical depression notice in the White House, and they're like, all right, I'm out. I mean, Clinton being the exception.
Because Nixon was like, all right.
Nixon was like, all right, out. I'm done. Packed up the car. We're going inland. But, you know, Clinton, he's a good old boy from Arkansas. He's weathered a tornado warning or two in his time. He may have hunkered down and didn't do much, but, you know, he still weathered the storm.
I mean, since we're doing a little thing before we get into the main topic, I guess I gotta drop my little opinion here. I think that Trump is not doing that because there's all likelihood, if he does, he will be indicted real quick.
Oh, real quick.
Real quick.
Well, here's why I think he hasn't yet. He's got too much Floridian in him.
He's just like, every time it comes in, every time the levees break, just rebuild.
He can smell the shitstorm
Never
coming.
heard of a Category 5.
And he's outside of his house, rock, flag, and eagle, just waiting for it. In fact, at this point, if he were to turn and run, it would just look bad on all politicians. It's like, is this what Floridians do when there's trouble coming?
Is this the kind of humor that you do on stage? Because I don't know how funny it is.
Oh, it's not. Believe me, sweetie, it is not.
So I think this is super interesting. I bring food into everything, right? You know, because this week we're talking about food and our relationship to food, and I bring food into everything. And you're reminding me actually of like my friend Ian Russo, who he has a podcast called Clearwater Los Angeles. His name is Ian Russo. He does a lot of comedy at I know he does something at the store sometime. What's the other comedy
store? Laugh Factory?
What's the other one I was talking about in Vegas? And you were like, oh wow, you know somebody who does it there too. I don't know.
Is it Comedy Cellar?
The Comedy Cellar.
In Vegas?
Yeah, we know. And so when he first started doing comedy, there's a bar like 4 doors from here, and they have like for $10, you get a shot, a 16-ounce tall boy of like Pabst, and an appetizer. And
That's
I
that's a spicy deal.
I really kind of associate food. This is why I'm fat. This is why I got the wheeze going.
Wheeze.
You know, I'm not morbidly obese. I swear. People who've never seen me before can be like, "Well,
You can also catch Steven on my 600-pound life.
no." So I directly relate food to my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I just remember going there to see him, and we were watching the other comedians, and he was eating macaroni and cheese. And I just thought it was so funny. So
Wait, before his set? Or
yeah,
after
yeah,
his-
before his set.
You're gonna eat mac and cheese before a set?
So I took a picture of him eating macaroni and cheese. And he gets on stage and he's joking around or whatever. And he goes, hey, he says some joke. And the woman in the crowd is like, this guy was taking pictures of you while you were eating. And I was like, I know him. I was like, it was so awkward.
Wait, so during his set, a lady heckles him to remind him of something that happened
I'll be fair.
before he got on stage?
My memory is not, I'm not remembering. It wasn't heckling. He posed a question or something.
Oh, okay. So it was crowd play. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I relate food to everything. You know, I don't know.
Definitely.
So I live in New York. And so to me, you're a little alien.
Oh,
So I
definitely.
want to know, not right now about the individual foods, but I want to know about you and food and your history with food. I'm just curious.
Oh, man.
I don't know anything about really about where you grew up. I don't know, like, are you guys poor? I don't know anything. I don't really know.
I love food. Well, I should start that out. I love food so much. Like
tell.
it's only recently have I not been as fat as I was consistent. Like I've been a fat kid for the majority of my life because I loved food. My favorite line from any kids movie was School of Rock when Jack Black is talking to the girl in the class who was like, oh, I didn't want to be a singer because people are going to make fun of me.
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah, so I'm fat. I like to eat. Is that such a crime? And like, that was my fucking mantra for years. It was just, yeah, I like to eat. So what? So I do have a very, very close connection with food as well. The foods that I grew up eating don't really do the best justice for how much I like food. They were relatively bland. I'm gonna be honest. My mom tried. She tried to introduce some flavor into our life, but my dad's a bit stubborn on that. Like consistently, we had at least twice a week ground turkey tacos. No seasonings. Just yeah. With flour tortillas, some cheddar cheese sprinkled on, maybe a little lettuce, maybe like a mild salsa or green salsa.
All right.
And then occasionally
Salsa verde, gotcha.
yeah, exactly. If we wanted to spice it up a little bit more, the go-to was Chipotle Tabasco. That
Ooh.
little Chipotle Tabasco and Tabasco. Chipotle flavor has a direct line to my heart and my heartburn.
So food was not like a super huge part of the relationship with you and your parents?
It was and it wasn't, because I ended up cooking a lot for myself when I'd come home for school. And a lot of the time I wouldn't really cook for myself as much as I would just rummage through the fridge for about an hour and a half and, scavenge. That I was a scavenger. And so one of my favorite meals to eat was a picked rotisserie chicken.
I know that.
Carcass and all. Like,
Yeah.
you come home and you see that there's like maybe a leg gone, but there's still a full breast and a couple wings. Ooh.
So here's a question. Because for me, were you guys poor? Like, I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know. Because
Well, the middle class is disappearing. So.
oh boy.
I don't think we were poor. My dad just didn't have that adventurous of a flavor palette. And so we kind of stuck to bland foods, but we always had food in the house and there was always stuff to snack on. It's just it wasn't fruit. We were the type of family that had like fruit leathers instead of fruit roll-ups.
Oh boy.
And I never ate the fruit leathers.
Mm-hmm. I think the only reason I ask is because for me and my relationship with food and my mother, a lot is completely tied into the fact about how just poor we were. Mm-hmm. And I think that the reason why I ate the way I did and the things that I did is my mother wanted me to like be expanded to things and wanted me not to eat like as poor as we were. You know what I mean?
So you ate above your income.
I guess you could say that only because. So I'm gonna give you like a little.
Give me a little insight.
We didn't have cable, right? Mm. But there was a coaxial cable, the white cable that goes into the cable box, hanging from the ceiling, and plugged it into the TV. And sometimes when you do that, you get the local channels clear as day. So we got channel 11, channel 9, channel 7, 5, 4, 3, and channel 2, which nobody in New York really gets CBS. It's kind of hard. I don't know why. I don't know where it is,
but CBS is based that in New York.
But I don't know what was going on. Like you couldn't really get it in your apartment over the air. It was kind of hard sometimes. So we plugged it in, and you would also get Nickelodeon, and a brand new channel that just came on to cable, the Food Network.
Ooh.
The Food Network. And the thing is that when I say that we were poor, I didn't realize how poor we were. But my best memories are like my mother and I eating Chinese food when our lights would get cut off in front of our little portable battery power TV. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because my mother went out of her way to kind of make sure that I didn't suffer, really. I never went without clothes, without gifts on Christmas, or without food, you know? So,
sacrifice.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. In a way I didn't really realize. So even to the point where, for example, on Fridays, she would do like a cultural Friday. But again, this is the 90s. So a different culture in the 90s was tacos. And also we were poor and spaghetti. But she would do also random stuff like she ordered like Omaha steaks, and I was eating like really shitty vegetarian food in the 90s that wasn't good. You know,
before they actually knew how to make things impossible.
And like sushi and stuff. These things that were not like super mainstream, you know. And my entire relationship with food is tied into my mother and my relationship with her. But
you got good exposure to a bunch of different foods that way, it sounds like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is, my mother went out of her way to let me cook with her, you know, even if it was just the beef stroganoff hamburger helper. Which, by the way, it's so good. I taste it right now. I can taste it right now. You know, there was always seconds. There was always thirds. You know.
I always prefer my beef.
Just stuff it into your mouth.
Stroganoff.
You know. Now, this is completely related, right? Because, as you know, we always do a little drinky drink, right? Yeah. And so the thing that we kind of did today was we were talking about like the kind of drinks that you would have in childhood and maybe adulting them up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was thinking about something because I am just drinking whiskey and ginger ale, and I wasn't drinking as a kid. But there's a reason for that. Because
you didn't drink whiskey and ginger beer as a kid?
Definitely not. Because I realized that we didn't have anything to drink in my house. And I drank Kool-Aid. And I enjoyed Kool-Aid. But does anybody really love Kool-Aid? Like, I didn't really love it. And things like orange juice were super special. Yeah. You know, there was no soda. I didn't really have, like, soda, you know. I didn't have a lot of beverage, you know. Just water and Kool-Aid that I didn't really love, you know. And then when Tropical Fantasy came around, and I would like steal 50 cents from my mother's purse and like get a Tropical Fantasy. So I kind of realized that for me, an adulting a beverage is not going back to any beverage that I had when I was a child. Because that's strangely the one thing that I don't have a connection with when it comes to food.
Beverages?
Is beverage.
Huh. Well, you must have had some like really well cooked, or at least not dry food, because
Yeah, no, the food was very good, and I would always have some Kool-Aid, and I have like small memories of like when I first discovered the mango flavor of Kool-Aid. It was so good, and and the Jamaica, which is like a sorrel, sorrel like hibiscus,
oh, okay.
like flavored Kool-Aid.
Wait, what? I've never.
Yeah,
heard
it's called Jamaica. If you go to Hispanic neighborhoods and get Kool-Aid, they have different flavors.
What?
Yeah.
I was just limited to the basic ass fruit punch or wild berry.
Yeah, no,
whatever.
they have like little packets of tamarind flavor.
or purple flavored.
Yeah, they got tamarind flavored.
Tamarind.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's so good. But the thing is
Since
that
when?
but Kool-Aid doesn't really taste good with liquor. I really thought about it, but Kool-Aid doesn't actually taste good with liquor because it's mostly water.
You got to make riot punch.
Yeah, but I don't really like that. So like I saw, but you're drinking something actually really cool and kind of interesting.
Oh, I did a little research because, like I said earlier, I fucking love food, and being that a lot of the meals in my house were on the drier side. Turkey, what's a good turkey taste like, Steven?
The chicken.
It tastes
like chicken.
And I swear, it wasn't until like I moved out to go to college that my dad realized you didn't have to cook steaks well done.
Oh.
And he's learned, but I'm so proud of him. I talk a bunch of shit about his palate, his gutter palate, but I'm so proud of him because he's learning so much.
Let's exchange steak stories. Come
okay, give me your steak story.
All right, so I don't eat steak anymore, obviously, but when I did in 2004, when I was dating my ex-girlfriend Rose, she was German, right? So she was white, obviously.
Wait, Germans are white?
I know, right? She didn't speak any English. She moved to Europe, then from Europe to America within a year, and she taught herself English. So she had great English, and I went and stayed at her house 5 times, 6 times, whatever. I went to visit her from New York. First, she came to visit me. I went to go visit her. Then I moved to South Carolina, and then I moved to Georgia where she lived, and I lived right next to her. Coincidentally, just related to my mother, nothing to do with her. Okay, so then one day I was there, and her father made steak. I think it was a New York strip steak, actually. He made steak, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just have the piece from the end. I like it well done." He said to me, "Try a piece from the middle," and I was like, "It's not cooked all the way." He was like, "Give it a try." Oh boy, I'm gonna tell you something. It was like a life-changing moment. It really is. It really was. It was so juicy and tender. And delicious.
Oh, it's got all the steak flavors.
It was so good. I remember.
Succulence.
Yeah. I never forgot that day. What was her name again? No, I'm kidding. Yeah. You obviously have a steak story because I only mentioned it because you were talking about your father and his dry steak.
Well, okay, quick backtrack because a lot of the time.
Oh.
We're talking about what we're
talking about your drinking. I said I tangented.
I need tangent hard.
All right.
I didn't want to reel you back in because steak stories are always fun.
They're always good. All right, so continue. What are you drinking?
So
only because mine was boring.
Yours is boring. Yeah. We've had whiskey highballs before. What I'm drinking is one of my favorite comfort drinks, which it's the cocktail is called a California root beer. And I'm from California, and boy, do I love root beer. I love me a cold sarsaparilla in the afternoon.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what sarsaparilla is.
The sarsaparilla is like OG root beer. It's what the sarsaparilla, whatever the plant name is that the root that it's made from is root beer. Anywho, I was only allowed to drink sodas on the weekends. And so I'd be so stoked to get me one of them A&W sodas. Ooh. And I'd go all out. We'd go to A&W and I'd get an ice cream float or a root beer float. Oh, I was so juiced. And there was a good time where once I moved out of my house, all I drank was soda, or all I drank was root beer. I had root beer and cream soda running through my veins. And now that I got a little bit more self-control, a little bit more discipline. I don't like wheezing going up my stairs.
Yeah.
I don't need high fructose corn syrup running through my veins. I cut back on my soda intake significantly, but every now and then I splurge on like one of those good artisanal root beers that really like you get the full terroir.
Abita is the best.
Yes, or Fentiman.
Yeah.
They do a pretty solid root beer. But what we're drinking today is a cocktail, the California root beer for this California kid, and it's one part this interesting Italian liqueur called Galliano,
La Authentic.
It's
the authentic Galliano. That's pretty much.
Much what it is.
Yeah.
It's an herbal liqueur that was, I believe, introduced to Italy during their war with Ethiopia.
The first Italo-Ethiopia War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1896.
Ooh, look at you fact-checking me on the Wikipedias. Like I didn't get my information from there.
Ooh, star anise, juniper berry, musk yarrow, lavender, peppermint, cinnamon.
So it's
and
got a lot.
Vanilla.
And vanilla. So you got the
vanilla is why it doesn't taste like complete like anise. I get it.
And it's what kind of differentiates it from the absinthe that we had a while back as well, because it still has that anise flavor, that anisette herbaceousness. But not only is it one part of that Galliano, it's also one part Kahlua. And then I took a little liberties because typical recipes call for either club soda or cola. And I said, not this guy. I said, no way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
And I threw in some good old ginger beer into this mix. Because, boy, do I love me some ginger beer now. And I'm going to be honest, it actually has a pretty similar flavor profile to root beer.
It does. You know, I think it's the vanilla and the anise.
It's the vanilla and the anisette and like just the tiny bit of rich sweetness that you get from the Kahlua just kind of helps give it that body that...
I'll be honest, though. I think the Kahlua, the coffee taste is... The coffee part of the Kahlua is kind of...
It kind of counters some of the flavors. But... Like I take a sip of it, and it takes me back to after school would get out in high school. My buddies and I, all us Utes, would mob down to the local gas station. We'd fill up these like 46 ounce big gulp at the local gas station, and the goal was to see one, who could finish theirs first on the walk home, and two, who could go the longest without then either pissing or puking on that same walk home.
Puking,
because
okay.
Well,
I just don't know. Okay.
But does this need a tangent story?
No, next time. I all right.
Because that also kind of defines my relationship with food. I have a very sensitive gag reflex.
Ooh.
So there were times where like my family would celebrate, like, oh, we're going to go down to the buffet and, have dinner there. And that happened about 3 times that we ever went to a buffet, because I would overeat to my heart's content because I wanted to try literally everything that was at the buffet. No self-control. And then, sure enough, through just the walk from the doors to the car, I'd spew.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it was bad.
Well, are you enjoying your beverage?
I am not going to vomit this beverage back up, which is one of the highest of compliments I could give to a beverage.
Well, I'm enjoying my beverage. I'm enjoying mine. I think that warrants? That was in good taste. Oh, now let's do a little.
What are we doing here?
I know, right? Take a little sip. All right, so here you go. So let's talk about briefly like some foods that you do not like.
All right, so the discomfort foods.
Discomfort foods.
I'll let you go. You go first on this one. So what what foods do you associate?
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise?
I hate mayonnaise. 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 I hate it. It's weird.
Wait, but what are your thoughts on Miracle Whip?
That's extra nasty because here's the thing. A dollop of mayonnaise and cake batter is delicious and it helps lighten up the cake.
Huh? I've never
Did you not know this?
I've never heard this.
If you put because what is mayonnaise?
It's egg whites.
And
oh no, it's yolks, isn't it?
Egg whites.
It's
and
and oil.
vinegar.
Oh, vinegar.
That makes your cake really fluffy.
Huh.
Yeah, you know, yes.
I've heard of sour cream.
But you would also do sour cream, but not for cake. Mm-hmm. But for but that's not
more
the
like
point.
a bread.
Yes,
like a corn bread.
But you definitely use mayonnaise for that. And I used to enjoy a small bit, like a dollop of mayonnaise, like a small one in tuna fish, because you have to. But I hate it.
Oof.
But you have to have it in tuna fish. You just have to.
It's a binding agent.
You know. But I hate it. I don't like it.
You know, Steve, I'm in that same camp with you. And,
yes.
And the dry household I came from, too, greatly despises mayonnaise. And tuna was the only...
You have to. You have to. So, mayonnaise. Other than that, and I don't eat meat anymore, but that's for weird ethical reasons and stuff. That has nothing to do with how delicious the poor animals are. Because, the animals are loving and they shouldn't be eaten, I think, but they also taste delicious. So don't at me, okay? I know that's just what it is, I don't really dislike many foods. There are some textures sometimes I don't like, but I'm willing to try and I'm open to trying anything. Mm-hmm. I have more foods that I like, and I have more individual stories and connections with food and bad meals. I can talk bad meals. One time, me and my friend, we used to go all the time to diners. Okay, she and I would go to diners all the time.
Oh, I love diners.
So there's a diner in the Bronx under the stop after Fordham, the not Burnside. That's 2 stops before. Whatever, doesn't matter.
I'm a foreigner. You can't be asking me for this advice.
So right under the Kingsbridge station, 4 train is a diner. So me and Adriana, we go to this diner. We sit there. We're sitting at this table, and she gets a salad. She doesn't eat meat, so she was like, "Can I get the anchovies on the side?" It's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. No, just spaghetti. No, I got the salad. She got the spaghetti. She ate the spaghetti, and she said to herself, she was like, "This doesn't taste good." So I took a bite, and it was like the sauce was thick and oily and clumpy, and I couldn't figure out why it tasted so nasty. And they took it away. Then last year, I sat down and I realized what it was. What that strange acidic flavor was. Canned string beans.
Huh.
They had mashed up canned string beans, and put them into the sauce.
Bees?
Beans. The green beans. The green beans into the sauce. So I have bad food stories.
Right.
But I don't really have foods I really dislike.
Except mayonnaise.
But
now,
even that...
Where does the animosity for mayonnaise come from?
It just looks so nasty to me. It looks to the point where fettuccine Alfredo and stuff, I was hesitant to eat, but I do enjoy it. But I really don't like the way it looks so much.
White goopy sauces?
No.
See, now you're sounding like my father.
Really?
He is not about white goopy sauce.
I mean, but that's also not true because I like other things that are white and goopy.
Like you fuck with a bechamel.
Oh, I fuck with a bechamel. You have to.
You
have to. But I don't know. But do you have any very specific foods that you don't like?
Oh, well, yes. Let me answer a couple of these because you said some things.
Hold on, though. Can I say something first?
Oh, we're gonna go on 6 different.
I'm gonna make this very clear though, because I can mix it. I only really dislike mayonnaise, but people I just realized they dislike things a lot. People don't like olives. They don't like pickles. People don't like so many things, and I don't really understand it because I can see something might be too spicy or too salty, but You can get pickles that are less salty. You can get
Like there are some people who are genuinely offended by some foods.
I just don't understand it because but I have to because mayonnaise is, I don't understand it. Just bothered by mayonnaise.
Just picture it as tapioca.
Jesus, tapioca's not great either, but I'm okay with it.
See, I have friends who could like eat a spoonful of mayonnaise. In fact, my dad once bet a guy while playing a game of pool. If he missed the shot, he would eat a spoon of mayonnaise. And the man stuck to his word.
It's gonna make me fucking throw up. It's so nasty.
You gotta spew.
Oh. So your discomfort
All right,
foods.
my discomfort food. My number one discomfort food is lox. Is bagels and lox. And it's not just like I don't really have a taste for salmon, and it's not just that I dislike the food, but the concept of me disliking bagels and lox, and it wasn't even until recently I enjoyed cream cheese, but it gave me an identity crisis. Like my entire Jewish side of my family. I'm only half Jewish, but according to Jewish law, my mom's Jewish.
Which
therefore, it's my mom. And
the left half or the right half?
No, the top half. Bottom half is all goy. Oh, my mom she'd love bagels and lox, and we'd, meet up with other people, with other family members on that side. And I'm supposed to have this kinship over such a traditional food of our people. And the first time I smelt lox, I gagged and spewed.
Oh boy, with the spewing.
The spew was intense. And that was when I was like 5 or 6. But like I've had this animosity towards lox that's just been an internalized anger with if I could like smoked salmon and lox, I would. I would want that connection. But I don't. And it feels distancing, And of course, I also, identify with the spirit animal of a bear, which also are known to enjoy salmon. And again, the same issue. I can't force myself to like salmon.
No matter how hard?
No matter how hard I try.
Is that like your number one
That's
like discomfort food?
If I could change one thing about myself, aside from my financial status, it would be...
You know what? I agree with you. Because if I could change the fact I don't like mayonnaise is great on sandwiches.
It is.
Like, that's the purpose of mayonnaise.
It's
you
to
put
just
a nice
kind of liven up a sandwich.
And I just don't.
Here's what probably happened. You probably had some experience in your life where someone didn't put the appropriate film of mayonnaise on a...
Oh, you mean like Everyone Ever, where they put like...
Where they just thwap it on.
Ugh. And also watching my mother eat mayonnaise and watching it ooze out of the sun. Can we talk about food we like? Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, let's transition to foods. I'll transition this way. Because I love tuna melts. It's the salmon thing. It doesn't extend to all seafoods.
Tuna, okay.
But it's tuna con mayonesa with cheese and usually onions, and that is my biggest connection. Like when I go to bar mitzvahs and stuff, there's always bagels and lox out, but my real connection to that side of my family is my love for tuna melts. Because my grandma, I never got to meet her. She died like 3-4 years before I was even a concept, and she I've been told her go-to meal were tuna melts on rye bread, and oh boy, that's a quick way to my heart. Is a tuna melt with some deli mustard, some Swiss cheese.
Listen up, ladies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
You could take it to the deli.
Well, put that away.
That's a food that I thoroughly enjoy, that I do feel that connection to a culture that I'm otherwise kind of severed from. Do you have any connection?
That's so funny because my favorite food ever is not, I swear, it's like pasta with gravy. Like,
now, when you say gravy,
I mean Italian gravy.
you mean gravy.
I mean gravy. I swear, I remember in this Revy house, I have memories of like being like 7 years old, sitting in the room we were just sitting in at a table, kind of where we just were, and I think actually that mirror was still on the wall, but it was organized a little different. The TV was on the same side, and I remember sitting there at the table with my back to the TV, and my grandfather giving me a bowl of spaghetti. And now I realize he didn't drain because you ever not drain the noodles enough? Mm-hmm. And so like the bottom of the bowl is like this soupy, watery mess with like tomato sauce that happens a little bit.
Spaghetti broth.
I remember that. And I remember fucking loving it.
Ooh.
You know? And
did you slurp it down at the end?
Yes. And I remember like we couldn't really afford to put spaghetti sauce on top of the pasta because it takes up more sauce. So my mother would always toss the sauce in, which I didn't hate, but like it would kind of like dry out and not be as saucy, you know.
Yeah, sometimes the sauce doesn't cling to the noodles the right
Yes.
way.
So when I first lived by myself as an adult, I lived across the street from where we are right now. Okay, and I ate spaghetti every day, but Friday, for 6 months.
Well, because Fridays were the
Pizza.
Okay.
Ordered me and Rob ordered a pizza from the same place where I had pizza from earlier today. We'd order a pizza every Friday.
If you're ordering a pizza for yourself, what topping? Not paying for the pizza yourself, just ordering a pizza for yourself.
I usually go plain. I don't usually do extra cheese because extra cheese is good, but I like extra cheese, not too much cheese. And when you get extra cheese, that's what you get.
You like extra cheese, not ludicrous cheese.
Yes. You know, it's like ludicrous cheese, ludicrous speed. No, if I had to pick like a pizza, for example, because, hold on, now this is the second one, is pizza. Ooh. Okay, because if you look at the show notes, which you'll be able to find at habitofwellness.wordpress.com, okay, and at Google Docs, it'll be everywhere. It'll be in the summary and whatever. Pizza, like my friend Lisa in high school, I bought her 2 slices of pizza, and she still owes me $5 for that, and I never forgot. Okay, but Denise's slice of pizza, she owed me $2.75 because that was after the price went up, and I like a good regular New York style slice of pizza. However, I love the margarita, like a traditional, traditional margarita with the dollop of the sauce, with the basil. But then if you're like, put whatever you want on it, I'm like, give me fresh garlic and cooked garlic and basil and cherry tomatoes and like I love to put all this stuff. Yeah, but no ham.
Yeah, no ham.
Give it no ham. But I did used to like you know, even when I ate meat, pepperoni, only pepperoni, not pepperoni and sausage. You know, because pepperoni is perfect. You know, pepperoni is the perfect meat for a pizza.
It gives enough of itself to the pizza through the grease. It sweats enough. Salami doesn't sweat the same way.
It doesn't. Oh, but hold on. But now here we go. Because I have all these. Because now this is the thing. Foods I don't like. Man, it's foods I love. Spaghetti, pizza. But then I have like memories associated with foods, right? So like I like my brain is having like, because I guess desserts are foods as well.
Desserts aren't food.
Desserts aren't foods? Fine.
Like, unless you can dress them up as a breakfast,
you ever had
desserts
you
aren't food.
You ever had a piragua before?
I don't speak Italian.
Piraguas, yeah, man.
Wait, is it Italian?
No, it's not. So it's like shaved ice.
Uh-huh.
You know? You never see the Hispanic people with the big block of ice, and they and they shave it, and then they put the syrup directly into it.
So a snow cone?
You know? Piragua, right? Chinese food, because again, we didn't have any money, so when we ate out, Chinese food was it. Okay, and I remember again, a block from here, I used to come to this apartment to do my grandfather's laundry. My mother would always come on Fridays and do his laundry, and I would come with her. He would give me an allowance, so I would go to the Chinese restaurant down the block that I still go to and get French fries. And I loved hot sauce, but I never put hot sauce on my fries. My mother was like, put hot sauce in your fries. You're going to like it. And I was like, ew. But then I did it.
You gonna learn.
And it was the best thing of my entire life.
Oof.
But then I used to 4 chicken wings and fried rice, you know, Jindo Soul's chicken. You know, I have my relationship to food is crazy because you don't know New York food. Okay,
No.
you got Tasty Dumpling in Chinatown, $1.25. You get an order of dumplings, like traditional Chinese, like dumplings, kind of like pot stickers, you know, crispy on the bottom,
Ooh.
nice and
Like
juicy.
fried pot stickers, or
Well,
like,
no, because they put them in a pan because they, you know, and then they deglaze it's like a big thing and they deglaze it, so it scrapes up and it's like crispy on the bottom and stuff like that. You know, Mei Hua, which Mei Hua you might have seen because it's a popular T-shirt, but it's a restaurant. I'm gonna show it to you later. You know, what else? You know, like I have.
Well, because that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, how would you define the place you grew up, the culture of the place you grew up with a food? But you grew up in New York.
I grew up in New York, but also I was poor as shit. Okay, so my mother cooked. The reason why I'm like I cook we couldn't really afford to eat out unless it was Chinese food. So my mother made everything. I ate everything at home, unless I ate out and it was Chinese food. But my mother did it very well, trying to make sure that I was exposed to different foods. But then, when I got a chance, I tried everything. And I could go on from every single moment of every food I like. For example, spaghetti. I remember when Casey and Amanda were pregnant across the street. You don't know them, but it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And
I'll pretend like I do. Go on.
Me, Casey, Amanda, and Rob were all... Amanda and Rob. Amanda's the mother of my godchildren, and Rob is Max's best friend, who's the father of her first kid. We were there, and I made the spaghetti, and I used habanero peppers. I used so many.
Oh no!
That they thought they were going to go into labor. Okay, Chinese food.
Wait. How many peppers did you use?
Oh, a lot.
Because like one habanero in a sauce will zest it up.
Sweat and tears. It was great.
Oh Lord! You
Chinese
have the Tanteo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Chinese food. Don't eat meat anymore. Red Bamboo is a Chinese like vegetarian vegan restaurant in the village. Right. When Adriana was pregnant, I went there with her. I went there with my mother and my grandfather not long before my grandfather passed away. You know, I have stories for every one of my favorite foods because that's kind of what food is like the moments, you know. And living in New York, when I lived in Harlem, I just went to the store and my mother bought food and she would let me draft the coupons. She would let me eat some food in the restaurant, the store while we were looking, and we would get food and we would cook together, you know. And that is my entire thing. It's all defined by how much money I didn't have, but I didn't know, you know.
Right.
And then when I ate out, it was Chinese food or bologna with American cheese with mustard. But then when
you put mustard in your mac and cheese?
No, bologna as a sandwich. I used to go and get bologna, American cheese, and mustard.
Oh, American cheese.
Or until I got older and discovered deli mustard, honey turkey, less tomatoes, onions, pickles, spicy mustard.
Pickles are amazing. But just side note, pickles are delicious.
They are delicious.
Oh my god.
Or when Amanda was pregnant again, she introduced me to cheddar cheese.
Wait.
Because I just never really ate it that much.
How old were you when you were introduced to cheddar cheese?
I mean, I knew cheddar cheese, but I didn't love it until I was like 23 when she was pregnant. She introduced me to bacon, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheddar on a raisin bagel. Okay? You know? So like that for me, that's kind of it. Because New York is that. But I don't know about the West Coast. I don't know, like, is it very homogenous? Is like everything in one area? Like, did you travel to get food? You're partially, you got the half Jew thing going on? Half Jew.
That's a lot of pepper.
A lot of pepper.
Someone's going to be sneezing up in here with that much pepper.
You know. So I don't know. You got to, like, let me know. I don't, you got to educate me. Like, how much of your, to give you some direct questions, like, how much of your food was culturally like Jewish, kosher?
Oh, none of it. I was about as kosher as, I don't know, Korean barbecue. Like, there's a lot of pork in there and seafood. No, I didn't eat kosher at all, really. The place I grew up in, Antelope, the northern part of Sacramento, before you got into like the other little communities and towns around us, there wasn't really much to eat except you have your Chinese food place, your taqueria, and your pizza places. And
oh, that's good. Oh yeah, Beer Pro. Look, there's no cough
go.
button, so whatever. They're gonna kiss
Yeah.
my butt.
Anywho, so we ate another one of the things me and my hooligan squad of friends would go and do is we'd go to our closest taqueria and get the largest burritos they had.
Taqueria already. See,
We had the
West
taqueria.
Coast already. West
yeah,
Coast, yeah.
Taqueria de Guadalajara in the Winco Center. Oh, we would fuck up a giant burrito. And this is a burrito that would take 2 extra large sized tortillas
Okay,
to
Steve.
roll.
2.
2!
2.
Did you get showered enough
A
in
little
that?
bit.
Those were always fun. But if you wanted something a little bit more, I don't know, just not plain Jane, like even if you wanted to go to like an Applebee's, you'd have to go to the next community over. We didn't have any sit down restaurants in Antelope. There was maybe one sports bar that was there for about 2.5 years before it got shut down. It's just there weren't any places to kind of sit and eat. It was all either fast food chains, and if there was any like mom and pop shops, it was Chinese food, taqueria, pizza. Done. That's that's it. And lately, when my friends and I actually got our driver's license, started exploring, we found this one place that I think perfectly encapsulates the kind of cultural demographics that are in Antelope. And this was right on the border of Antelope and Roseville, still northern Sacramento, but going from like Antelope, the not as nice area, to Roseville, the much nicer area.
No idea what you're talking about, but gotcha, gotcha.
And there was this barbecue joint. It was like out of the garage of a mechanic or something.
I'm already down with it. I'm already down with it.
Very niche. But on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, they'd fire up their smoker and they'd slow smoke these tri-tips. Now, I don't know if you know what a tri-tip is, because I've been looking around New York and I have not found that cut of meat.
Because that kind of meat is actually kind of not good. You have to go to a butcher. That's why you can go to a butcher. And
I've gone to a couple, and well, they don't have them out. But tri-tip for one is something that defines California's culinary.
Look at that.
Experience.
The triangular cut of the beef from the bottom sirloin, subprimal cut.
It's subprimal, and that's why you smoke it for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like a skirt thing. Oh, what is this?
It gets.
What is this? In Google, it says it's tri-tip a California thing.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what it says right here.
It's an economical cut.
It's called California's cut, apparently.
Wait, see, I thought there was a thing,
but I've had tri-tip, and it's definitely a thing that's here.
Yeah,
but I guess that's just maybe like a thing that's all right.
So this place you'd go when on the days they had their tri-tip, they'd do tri-tip tacos and tri-tip sandwiches, and oh my god, the tri-tip tacos! They do it like with the corn tortilla that's fried with the tri-tip inside with the fresh the queso fresca and sprinkled on it with like some salsa that's been sitting in agent. Like the salsa has fermented, so it's like beyond average salsa spice. Oh my god, that with a gas station soda immediately brings me back to my hometown. That taco, that because West Coast, it's a pretty strong Latin influence. The tri-tip, you have a good amount of agriculture and rural stuff going on just in Antelope too. Like my city was so diverse, I guess. You can be in Antelope and on one side go pet cows and chase horses and run with sheep and fish in a creek, and then on the other side you'd be in, like, I don't know, on your way to downtown Sacramento.
Wow.
It's that we were that fringe, I guess. But oh man, just thinking about them tri-tip tacos now. that's so Raven.
Wow. I feel like I feel like I could talk about this kind of things forever, because like food here because
there's so much of it.
There's so much
food in New
and you're
York.
talking about that, and I'm thinking about because also like over there in the West Coast, heavy Mexican population. Over here in the East Coast, heavy Dominican and Puerto Rican population. So the Spanish food is different.
Yeah.
But we also have Mexican food here too. That's great. But you have to look really hard for it. You got to look for it. But we also
Y'all's
have a lot.
Mexican food.
No, we have great. I got to show you though, but it's hard. You got to look for it.
You guys have great, like, Spanish food.
Yeah. No,
and,
you can find. I promise you can find amazing Mexican food, but you just have to know where to look. Because you have a lot of Ecuadorian food too. You got everything. And I really, really, really can never shut up about doing this. Okay, but we gotta cut it short because we're running so long, and we gotta try to
dial it back a little bit.
But I want to ask you real
we have
quick.
so much to say,
right? I want to ask you quick. So how do you feel about food on the East Coast?
Well, I mean, y'all's pizza is untouchable, hands down. New York pizza, even the shittiest New York pizza, is still better than any of California's attempts to try to... Because, you got California Pizza Kitchen and Pizza My Heart, which are just attempts to replicate New York pizza, but, like, with a little less boundaries, I guess. Like, you'd find a California pizza would look the same.
They try too hard.
They try too hard.
It didn't occur to me that, like,
it's with the toppings, and that's
Yeah.
what they try to do different. Pineapple on pizza.
Whatever, whoever likes. Well, man, I could go on forever because I lived down south briefly in South Carolina and Georgia, but we can't. We cannot do it because we need to be good. We need to be good.
Self-control and self-discipline.
That's definitely something that I don't think we have a lot of.
We're trying to get a little bit better.
But here's the thing. So what? Oh, that's the wrong song. That's the wrong song. Hold on. That's the old intro. I'm gonna just go through the music live here. There we go.
Relatively live.
There you go. Live to tape. Fuck it.
I'm
doing it live.
Doing it live to tape.
So I want to thank you. This has been awesome. All right. So what's happening next? What are you doing next in the next 2 weeks before the next podcast comes out?
All right. Well, before the next 2 weeks, I've been invited to return to the Brooklyn Comedy Club. They do Friday night shows that are their actual shows, not just open mics. I was invited to come back on Friday the 11th to do a spot on their show then. And if anyone's interested, let me know. I need to fill seats. So,
all right.
You could catch me there, and you could get as many of my stupid jokes as I can fit in 5 minutes.
And social medias?
Social medias. Check out humblebumblebear.wordpress.com. Check out C-Honey at Instagram. And Steven, what plugs you got?
Well, as you know, this is going to be here on the Art of Giving Up RSS feed.
Ooh, let them know.
But... So, for now, you can still reach out to both of us, not just me, on my Facebook page, which is trying to change the name of it right now, still The Art of Giving Up. The Instagram, which is Art of Giving Up. Twitter, which is The Art of Giving Up, like D-A.
Oh, The Art.
The Art of Giving Up.
Dart.
And Gmail, artofgivinguppodcast@gmail.com. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and
What
this has been dope.
What about,
Oh, and of course, habitofwellness.wordpress.com.
There you go.
I need the full website. Listen, I got a lot of links.
it's got so many links.
We gotta wrap this up.
All right.
So we are your hosts. I'm Steven,
I'm Chandler.
and well, I guess.
Today everything
So we end it with like, was it in taste? Or we should end it with that was in good taste.
that was in good taste.
That was in good
We're
taste.
talking about a lot of things.
Ding it.
All right, we'll
I have no ice left.
clink it. There
That
we go.
that was
In good taste.
in good taste.